Russia, 1998. Snow fell over the city like ash from a dying fire. The factories no longer worked, but their chimneys still stood above the skyline like rusted monuments to a dead country. Concrete apartment blocks stretched endlessly beneath gray skies. Men drank themselves numb in courtyards. Teenagers sold stolen cigarettes near tram stations. Police officers earned less than taxi drivers and more from bribes than salaries. In the industrial city of Severograd, survival belonged to whoever was willing to become a monster first. And no one understood that better than 22-year-old Maksim Sokolov.
Max worked nights unloading freight trains near the river docks. Quiet, thin, intelligent, the kind of man people overlooked. His older brother, Viktor, was the opposite. Loud, charismatic, always chasing easy money. One freezing November evening, Viktor arrived at Maxim's apartment covered in blood. Not his own. "They're going to kill me," he whispered. That was how Maxim first heard the name Volkov. The Volkov syndicate controlled half the city. Casinos, fuel smuggling, prostitution, extortion, stolen military weapons. Their leader, Leonid Volkov, was a former boxer with dead gray eyes and the patience of a wolf waiting outside a wounded animal's den. Viktor had borrowed money from Volkov's underground casino. A lot of money. And lost it all. 3 days later, Viktor disappeared. No body. No police report. Nothing. Only a message.
Maksim went to Volkov's nightclub alone. The club was called Cosmos. Neon lights, cheap perfume, Western music, cigarette smoke thick enough to choke on. Men in leather coats sat around poker tables, while armed guards watched every entrance. Volkov listened to Maksim without emotion. "You want your brother back?" he asked calmly. Maksim nodded. Volkov slid a pistol across the table. "Then earn him." The first job seemed simple. Collect money from a shop owner refusing to pay protection fees. But when Maksim arrived, the old man begged him for mercy. Said he had children. Said business was dead. Maksim hesitated. Then another gangster beside him smashed the man's teeth out with a steel ashtray. Blood covered the counter. The gangster laughed. Maksim realized something terrifying in that moment. Mercy was weakness here, and weakness got buried. So he picked up the money. Months passed. Maksim became useful, not because he was the strongest, because he was the smartest. While others used fists, Maksim used observation. He remembered names, routes, schedules, secrets. He knew which officials took bribes and which businessmen cheated the organization. He learned how fear worked. Volkov noticed. Soon, Maksim was driving black Mercedes sedans through snowy streets with armed men in the back seat. He attended meetings in bathhouses where politicians and criminals drank vodka together like old friends. The city was divided between gangs. Volkov's syndicate controlled the north industrial districts. The Chernov brothers ruled the ports. A Chechen crew handled weapons trafficking through the railways. Former Soviet soldiers worked as contract killers for whoever paid most. Every week, someone disappeared. Every week, another body appeared in the forest outside the city. Still, no sign of Viktor. But Maksim kept climbing. Because deep inside, another truth had begun growing. He liked power. Gang war came in January. A Volkov accountant was found hanging beneath a highway bridge with his eyes cut out. The message was clear. The Chernov brothers wanted territory.
The city exploded into violence. Restaurants were sprayed with automatic gunfire. Car bombs shook apartment blocks. Nightclubs burned. Police pretended to investigate while secretly taking payments from both sides. One night, Maksim and 3 gunmen ambushed a Chernov convoy near the frozen docks. Bullets shattered windows. Men screamed. Headlights reflected against falling snow. Maksim killed his first man there. A young driver, no older than 19. The boy looked terrified. Maksim shot him twice anyway. Afterward, he vomited behind a warehouse while blood froze black on the ice. But later that night, Volkov placed a hand on his shoulder. "You did what was necessary." Those words became poison inside him. Necessary. Soon, everything became necessary.
Her name was Anya Morozova. She worked as a singer at Cosmos nightclub. Unlike everyone else, she looked at Maksim without fear or admiration. She saw through him immediately. "You still have a soul," she told him once. "That's why you drink so much." For the first time in years, Maksim imagined escape. A different city. A normal life. Maybe even love. But Severograd did not allow men like him to leave clean. Because the deeper Maksim went into Volkov's empire, the more secrets he learned. Including the biggest one of all. Viktor was never alive. Volkov had ordered his execution months earlier. Not because of debt. Because Viktor had stolen money from the organization and tried to run. Maksim understood then. Everything he had become, he became for a dead man. The revelation destroyed something inside him. Maksim stopped sleeping. He trusted nobody. Not Volkov, not the police, not even Anya. Especially after he discovered someone inside the syndicate was informing federal investigators. Then the assassinations began. One captain poisoned. Another shot in an elevator. A third disappeared completely. Volkov grew increasingly unstable, executing men over suspicion alone. At a private sauna meeting, he beat one of his oldest friends to death with a vodka bottle, while everyone watched silently. No one intervened. Because fear ruled stronger than loyalty now. And Maksim realized something horrifying. Volkov suspected him next. Winter turned to spring. The city became wet, filthy, rotten. Maksim secretly made a deal with a corrupt police colonel. Help destroy Volkov's empire in exchange for freedom. But betrayal spreads like disease. Before the operation could happen, someone exposed the plan. Anya disappeared. The colonel was found dead in his car. And Volkov summoned Maksim to an abandoned factory outside the city. The same factory where workers once built Soviet machinery decades earlier. Now, it was only rust and ghosts. Volkov stood beside a furnace pit with armed men surrounding them. "You were like a son to me," Volkov said quietly. Maksim noticed fresh concrete near the wall. Too much concrete. Bodies underneath. "How long ago did you kill Viktor?" Maksim asked. Volkov lit a cigarette. "He cried for you." Silence. Then, gunfire erupted. Maksim had prepared for this.
Hidden shooters opened fire from broken catwalks above. Bullets tore through metal. Men dropped screaming into darkness. Chaos swallowed the factory. Volkov escaped deeper inside the building, while flames spread from overturned fuel barrels. Maksim chased him through smoke and sparks until they reached the furnace chamber. The old gangster smiled sadly. "You think you're different from me?" Maksim raised his pistol. But suddenly he realized Volkov was right. Everything terrible inside Volkov already lived inside him, too. The murders, the lies, the hunger for power. He pulled the trigger anyway. The shot echoed through the burning factory. Volkov collapsed beside the furnace. Dead at last.
Epilogue. No Way Back. Summer, 1999. Severograd looked unchanged. Children still played football between apartment blocks. Gangsters still drove black Mercedes through the streets. Police still accepted envelopes full of cash. Nothing really ended. Maksim sat alone at a train station with forged documents and a bag full of money. Anya was never found. Perhaps dead. Perhaps hiding. Perhaps she never loved him at all. A train arrived through the morning fog. Maksim could leave. Start over somewhere else. But as he stared at his reflection in the station window, he no longer recognized the man looking back. Not the dock worker. Not Viktor's younger brother. Only another predator born from the ruins of the 1990s. The train doors opened. Maksim did not move. Snow began falling again.